All right, welcome back to Pine Tree State Restorations on the very interesting 1950s hydroplane speedboat from Japan, early 50s. So a little history on this boat company, which is pretty cool, pretty strange and pretty cool. But this company is called SAKAI, and it is you can see this right here. See how it's got four swords around Sakai? It's the four sword brand. This is right after World War II. And they made, really, let's do a little history about this first. I'll give you the history. Sakai was a 1950s, mid 1950s to late 1950s in Osaka, Japan. At the time, they specialized in tin plate boats, electric motors, often selling them in competition with other companies at the time. The key brands were Speed King, Speed, Wolf Cub. They made wood and tin plate boats. Some of the boats were really high end, and like they made a wooden boat that had all kinds of little details on it, like little stamped out rowboats and everything. They're very rare today. This one here is the Hydroplane number 7. And I believe this is the biggest one they made in the electric outboard series tin boats. This whole thing's made out of metal, and it's just super cool. It's big. You see my hand. You see how big it is. But it's the number 7 hydroplane, and they came with an outboard motor on the back. Well, this don't work. Motor don't work, and I had to take the motor apart. And it was kind of a pain in the butt, and you had to be kind of careful. This has got a lot of delicate parts in it. I got the motor off. There's a little plate. Screws up in there with 2 little tiny screws. And that plate goes on this lower unit. And that goes up into the motor. And then, of course, you got the motor bracket here. Well, the problem started when I got the lower unit off. I had to get that shaft out of there. Got the gear, okay, and the propeller, okay. Well, the propeller unscrews counterclockwise. I had to hold that little flat with a tiny crescent wrench, then use a screwdriver and unscrewed that. But when I got it off, I couldn't get the brass piece out of the lower unit. Well, if you can see it, they got an interference thread on the lower unit. They got a regular thread here, an interference thread here. So the only way you can get that off is there's 2 slots. And I had to make a special tool out of a flathead bit that would go around the shaft and fit in them slots to unscrew that, because that thing is tight. I warmed it up on the outside with the mini torch very carefully and unscrewed that. And without that tool, you'd have never got that out. That son of a gun was tight. And I had to really turn really hard to get it loose. I'm probably going to run a tap in there if I can figure out what size tap that is. I'm a machinist, so that shouldn't be too hard. And I might clean that thread up a little bit so it's more of a less interference thread, because the whole idea behind this brass piece is you tighten that up to take out the gear lash for the lower unit. And plus, you also got to take it apart so you can pack it full of grease. I'm going to use super lube on the lower unit, which is right here. I'm going to pack that full once I get everything cleaned up, put back together. The motor has a kind of a unique set of wire brushes. They're not brushes, they're wires. So I got to clean that all up, because I'm sure it don't work. And I'm going to get everything cleaned up on the motor, and I'm going to put it all back together. I'll show you the back of the motor. Right there. Once I get all that done, I'm going to put that back on the boat. I am going to put a little piece of rubber right here so it's just not clamping on the metal. It's got like a rubber, real thin rubber on there so it clamps on that rather than scratching the boat all up. But the Sakai boats, they made a number 3, number 7. They made a giant ship. They made all kinds of stuff. They're very highly sought after because a lot of them obviously didn't survive. This one here is in really excellent shape with nothing broken on the hull. And if you look at the bottom, you can see the bottom is nice too. See how it's got the step in it? It's a hydroplane. Now, I doubt like heck that little electric motor that runs on 6 volts is going to have enough power to hydroplane that boat. Highly doubtful, but it's a nice thought. Also, the battery box is missing. It sat inside here, and the windshield was on the battery box. So I'm going to make a new battery box. I'm going to buy a plastic battery box that has 6 volts in it, AAA batteries, 3 of them, or 3Cs. I'm going to put that in there, and the original battery box was tin, and it was painted yellow. You can kind of see it in the picture. And I'm going to paint that yellow, and then I'll build a windshield that goes on top of the battery box. Then the wires will run down, connect to the outboard motor here. I'm missing one of the wing nuts, but I'll put one on there. And that tiller handle sticking out, that turns it on and off. You turn that, turns the switch on and off, turns the motor on. So once I get all that built, I'll put that back in there. I'm not going to put the boat in the water. I might run the motor in a glass of water, just for fun. But this is what we got, the 1950s. I'm guessing this one's probably around maybe 1955, somewhere in there. I really like the 4 swords, really cool. But we're going to get her all back together. We're going to restore the motor this week, get it done. I'm going to wax the holy bejesus out of this, clean all the fittings. None of them are broke on the boat. Get them all cleaned up. Have the original box. This boat's probably worth, in this condition with the box, I'd probably have to have $600 for it to let it go. I'm not going to sell it. It's my boat. I bought it from a picker. I'm going to probably keep it. If somebody offered me $600 for it when I'm done with it, I'd probably let it go. But I'm definitely going to keep it. I paid $50 for it, and that was unreal. That was just unbelievable. The guy wanted $50. I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. But this is what it is. It's a Sakai, 1950s, Osaka, Japan. This is after World War II. The Japanese people, did what they could to make money. They made a lot of cool toys out of recycled metal. So they made some pretty cool toys, and they were pretty popular back in the 50s. And a lot of them didn't survive, and that's why they're so expensive now. So I'll do a follow-up video on this boat when I get it done and show you its operation and how it runs and all that. Battery box I built and all that. And we'll show you the motor probably running in a glass jar of water. I'll probably put it in there and run it for you. And then after that, I'll just take it apart and clean it and re-grease it and put it away. But there she is. I'm hoping you guys really enjoyed this. Hit like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. This is all about you guys. If you got any questions on how to take apart one of these toy outboards or where to get parts or how to fix something on these boats, I've fixed a lot of them. Please let me know. I'll be happy to help you out. And thanks for watching Pine Tree State Restorations, and we will see you soon.